The purpose of this practice will be for caretakers, first responders, or anyone who needs to take in little information, respond and react quickly. So there are times when we all need to be able to respond quickly and make decisions. However, if we don't counter that and balance it with times where we relax, we breathe, we notice how we feel, it can lead to congestion, feelings of being stuck. This could be thoughts that are stuck in our mind. It could be a feeling of stuck or our harshness around the heart. It could also be feelings of stuck, undigested food that we've taken in. So the purpose of this practice will be to allow the mind, the heart, and the belly to relax, take in nourishment. So now we're going to move through some standing poses. I recommend having a chair. We'll start in downward dog. So you'll use your chair, hands on the seat of the chair, and walk your feet back. Be gentle with your hamstrings, so start with a generous bend in your knees, and you're just walking back so that you can open up through your armpits. And then your gaze is going to look back between your legs. So when you start with a generous bend, you can feel that your spine elongates, and that's what we want to have. We want to have that space for our spine to get long. If we've been rounded over for a while, this is a nice way to open up the back. And then after you feel like this feels great and I want to bring more openness to my hamstrings, you slowly start to straighten the legs. You can do this by kind of walking one heel and then the other, so switching back and forth. One knee bends, the other knee straightens. And the straightening or bending is all depending on how you're feeling in that moment. Every day may be feeling very different depending on how you slept, what you ate, what you did during your day. And then from here, slowly start to come out of the pose just enough to pick up your right foot and place it in between the chair. And then you can adjust. You're going to come up onto the toes of the back leg and then press back down. The front knee will start to bend. So we're coming into a lunge essentially. Get your balance, maybe find a point on the wall in front of you. Keeping the hands here if that feels very supportive and grounding to you and that's what you need. Some days that's what I prefer, is to keep my hands on a chair. Sometimes I use blocks. If you feel like you need more uplift, you can start to, again with balance, place your hands on your hips. And if you've chosen that, you might then really press into the back heel and start to notice what's happening in this back leg hip flexor. If you want more for the chest, then you could bring your hands into cactus or goalposts. And then if you want even more uplift feeling, you can extend your arms overhead. The gaze can be right in front of you. If you want more of a back bend effect, you could start to take your gaze up towards your thumbs. I'm going to stick with my gaze right in front of me. Notice your breath, probably mostly in your chest at this point, but notice if you can feel your breath still in your belly. There's all these options available to you. Then placing your hands back down on the chair and pivot so that now your back foot is flat on the floor, and put a lot of emphasis on the pinky toe side of your foot. If your right foot was forward, then your right hand will be in the center of your chair. And you might need to move this chair forward and backward so that you get the bend in the knee right where you need it. The chair is just your prop for assistance. Hand in the center of the chair, and then the left hand can come up and around and find your sacrum. So just placing your hand on your sacrum, you're still pressing very much into the pinky toe side of the extended leg. With the hand on your sacrum, start to open up so the chest is opening up towards the ceiling. And the gaze can look downward or straight ahead. Feel this wrapping effect of the abdominals from the right side, wrapping up to meet the left. And then with the hand, you're using the chair and pressing the hand into the chair. So rather than, I'm emphasizing this, but rather than a bend and a slouch, we're going to use it so that we can get that wrapping effect of the abdominals. Then we'll extend the top hand back down. We're going to pick up through the back foot. We'll place the left hand in the center. The knee is still bent. And then we'll take the right hand now to the sacrum. And we're opening up in the opposite direction. So this twisting action is really beneficial. You'll probably see a lot of creases in my shirt. So we're opening up through here where the adrenals are. And when we make a lot of decisions, the adrenals get taxed. So now we're nourishing them with breath and space. And if there's no tension in your shoulder, you can even extend this top hand to the ceiling. And then looking down, start to straighten to any amount that front leg. Still making firm contact with the back leg. Then bringing this top hand down, coming into the spinal extension or downward dog. And again, walking the feet forward to start, bend your knees, and then you can start to walk your feet back. Get long through your spine. Let the head be relaxed. Let the armpits open up. And then ready, and walk your feet forward. Come to standing, and now just notice. Place your hands by your sides. Notice how your body feels. And we'll switch to the other side. Hands on seat, walk the feet back. Bend the knees. Start to straighten the knees any amount. If you get there and you think, nope, my back just started to round. As soon as I start to straighten my legs, my back goes into a hunch, then I encourage you to keep the knees bent. This time you'll step the left foot up to be in between your chair. You might need to adjust. I also recommend the width. Adjust the width so that it's not like you're on a tightrope, but you're on train tracks. And then you pick up the back heel. You bend into the front knee. And as you do that, make sure that the knee is tracking over the top of the foot. It's very easy for this knee to want to go towards the big toe side of the foot. You want to use the muscles of your quadricep and make sure that that knee is tracking over the top of the foot. And then just adjust the chair to the degree of bend that you want. Keeping the hands on the chair seat. Or if you want to feel that uplift, then you find balance, you bring your hands to your hips. And then for me, right away, what I notice when I do that is this hip flexor, very active. Hands can come into cactus. I feel the broadness across my chest. So now my heart gets that nourishment from the breath. And then another variation is to extend through the arms. If there's no tension in the neck or the shoulders, this might be another way to feel that upper body release. And then very slowly bring your hands back to your chair seat. This time you'll pivot so that you're on the full foot. You'll take your left hand to the center of the chair. Adjust your chair so you can come into a bend in the knee. It doesn't have to be 90 degrees. It could be less than 90. Just some degree that allows you to feel firm. And then take your other hand to your hip and start to open up. So you're rotating. So feeling that wrapping effect now on the other side. And the gaze can be in front. You could even look upward If you feel like there's no tension in your neck, you can release the top hand overhead. I will do sometimes either position. Today I'm really liking feeling my hand on my hip. It allows me to feel the connection from the pinky toe side of my foot all the way up. And then I get that sensation of opening up through the chest and the heart. Then from there, take your hand down, start to straighten through the leg. Then come with hand in the center, pivot on the back foot, so now you're back on the ball of the foot. And then you're coming into the twist, so hand to the sacrum again, and opening up. So now you're feeling the twisting action with still maintaining open, spacious breath. And then taking your gaze and your palm back to center. Step back into downward dog. Slide your chair into the just right position. Bend your knees. And then slowly walk yourself forward. Come up to standing. Place your hands on your hips. And pause for a moment. Make sure your feet are underneath you. But just pause. You can close your eyes. We call this hero pose. And for anyone who is a caretaker or first responder, or anyone who needs to make critical decisions, you are a hero. Connect inward just with that very thought. Feel yourself maybe even wearing a cape. When you're ready, softly blink your eyes open. We'll do one more pose that's very grounding for the lower body. So these poses for the legs are so important because we rely on the grounding of our lower body so that we are clear in our mind. So you'll have the chair behind you. You can even start seated in the chair. Now we're going to pretend like the chair isn't there, but it's there just in case you need it. So I like to have my feet kind of close together. They don't have to necessarily be touching, but pretty close together. We're going to use the inner thigh strength to come up out of the seat, and the hands are down to start with. Really feel the connection of the inner thighs zipping up. And then you can start to take your hands into cactus. Breathe here. Use that abdominal strength that you've worked on, built up, to help you hold this position. And after a few breaths, place your hands on your seat, come back to the chair, shake out an ankle, and then one more time. Come out of the seat, zip up through the thighs, take your hands into cactus. At this point, you could even extend the arms if it feels appropriate in your shoulders. And rather than allowing the ribs to flare open, contain the ribs. So soften through the ribs, but really press down through the heels. Allow the toes to be light. And then this time, press so much into the heels that you lift up, extend the spine, and then press the hands down. Notice how you feel. Before you move on, one last standing breath work, so combination of standing pose and breath work, is to do some simple opening up through the chest with your arms. So as you inhale, lift your arms up. Now this can also be done at this level. So any amount, lift the arms up and press the arms down. Lift the arms up, press the arms down as you exhale. And this time as you Lift the arms up. If you can, interlace the fingers, flip the hands, and extend them overhead, and then lean to one side. So leaning over, you really want to feel the connection from the outside of the foot through the hip, and then extend from the hip and allow that to be your side stretch. So rather than just thinking about the arm being the side stretch, it really starts at the foot, travels up through the side body, coming up through center, and switching sides. So it's not necessarily about pressing the hip out, but lengthening. Find the length. So connect in your mind that you're rooting down through the outside of the pinky toe side of your foot, drawing a long line on the outside of your body, and then feeling it through your rib cage, and extend. Come back up to center and exhale your hands down. And again, come back to your hero pose. So this is one pose that you can do for gentle relaxation. Doesn't require a lot. I'm showing it with a chair. You could also do this seated at your desk. So if you're working with a chair, you would come to sit on the floor. If you're working at a desk, of course, you're seated in your desk. You're just going to fold your arms and rest your head on your arms. Now, depending on the height of your chair, you might need a little more lift. In that case, you could use a couple of books, if you have a pillow or a blanket nearby, anything that can give you a little more lift so that you can fold your arms comfortably and then rest your head on your arms. Once you're there, close your eyes. And then really close your eyes so that you're really tuning inward. And with your arms folded, you can even use that top arm that's holding the head and then pull the forehead skin down over the eyes. Rest your brain, letting go of any efforting, letting go of any decisions that you've made. And as you're breathing here, feel your breath in your back body. As you inhale, feel yourself filling up. And as you exhale, the exhale is your nourishment. With every exhale, see if there's any more space for your shoulders. So really getting quiet. Thoughts may come and go. Allow yourself to know that you are more than the thoughts. And the more you practice this, the easier it is to come into this place of stillness, release, and really listening. After you're feeling ready, softly blink the eyes open. Take your time. Slowly and softly lift your head. Roll your shoulders. And be well.